Yeah.
and
What's up?
all other platforms.
What's up, guys? Oh, if I
It's your boy.
and we can hit record if you want to do
Okay,
the
yeah.
clapping.
Wait, I accidentally replaced time.is with Twitch. Twitch.is.
Twitch.is a
All
nightmare.
right. Yeah. Let's go 20.
Cool. Cool. All right. I'm going to grab my coffee off the machine and then I'm
Okay,
ready.
sounds good. Do we need to tweet out that we're... I don't want to bother with that. Oops. Maybe it's automatic.
I think if I ran time.is one day on like either Halloween or April Fool's, depending on the mood I'm in, I would just start making it count down.
That would be heinous.
And not say anything.
That'd be very good. You can't do it on April Fools because then people be like,
No,
"Oh,
I think you're right. It's got to be some. It's got to be another time. Because I would want
April
people to
Fools is
freak
played
out.
out." Yeah, it's got to be. Or like, I mean, you could do it around Halloween. That would be good. But if you just did it completely anonymously or like
Randomly,
randomly,
yeah, I think that's probably the real play. Is you just do it sometime in May or something,
yeah.
and then when it counts down to zero, you have a message about climate change. We
Damn.
are the future,
We are the world.
and so is unending fire.
All right, let's see. Um, hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Guess I should open Twitch chat.
Yeah, I've got it open here. Are you gonna do timestamps or should I?
Oh, I should. I can do timestamps.
Okay, you've got a. I think we're gonna use the like the Twitch, like whatever you're. I don't know. Are you recording it too or no?
I guess I probably should, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that. I
Then we probably
think.
need to clap again.
No, I don't think so because it just.
Well, to get the clap on there so it all syncs up.
I guess I didn't think that that's how Alex used it, but yeah, probably you're right.
Yeah, he does. He does use
Okay,
it to
I'll
like
restart my
sync
recording.
up
Yeah,
all of
okay.
them. Yeah.
All right, so I'm starting. Thankfully, OBS gives you
Do
the
you,
stream time and record time now. So
do you have the audio settings right? Because I had do you have them like 44.1 on OBS?
oh, that's a good question.
But if not, I can record the audio. Because like the streaming is like 48.
Yeah, I have it at 48.
Okay, so let me pull up OBS and I'll
Okay.
record. Master. Oh, can I
There's
record?
an ad for Dima Brush at Sherman Williams. Thank you.
I can't record multiple tracks in Audacity, can I?
No.
Dang.
Well, no, you can't.
What if I open? Could I? I have a. I
Wait,
can't have a second Audacity window open. Dang. That would have been clutch. Oh wait, no, I can. And then can I?
I should turn off this fan.
If I set that, Oh, but then I'd have to. I can't do that right now. I don't think. Okay, no, I'm not going to do that right now because that'll be a whole other nightmare. Okay. Check my settings. Put recording. Audio. 44.1. Put recording. MP4 video. We're going. Even that's like, yeah, okay. Very small video. Okay.
That's funny.
It's
It
like
automatically.
60. Oh, what?
It starts restream. It tweets about it automatically, and it tweeted that it was episode 183.
Ah. All right. So put this over here. Put that. I can't make this any smaller, can I? Okay. Now I can. Just, even with two monitors, there's too many windows going on here.
That's why you need one of them to be an ultra wide.
Yeah, apparently. All right. Gonna record on Audacity, record on OBS. Wait, talk?
What?
Keep talking.
Talking? I'm continuing to talk.
This one?
Talk.
Okay, it's this one over here. Okay, there we go. Got the right one on you. Bring that all the way up just to make sure. Okay, back to time.is. 45?
Oh, yeah.
Are you, okay,
no, let's do 50.
Turn up my, okay, yeah.
50's good. Cool.
All right, there we go.
Oh my god, the ads. I don't have YouTube Premium. Just gotta keep an eye on that.
It happens. Okay. Then in that case, gotcha. All right. Let me pull up that tweet real quick. Ah, I see what happened there. Okay. Let's get started then. Hello, and welcome to episode 184 of the Gaming Fix podcast on August 7th, 2021. I am your host, Andre Cole, aka your partner's favorite ancient city. I'm joined today by Pat.
That's a good question. My favorite ancient city is probably maybe one of the Celtic hill cities, or the like Alexandria or something. Those are two. Those are. It's a classic, but you know.
Definitely. I like Rome. Like I've been to Rome.
I've not been to Rome.
It's a nice place.
Does Paris count as an ancient city? Because I mean, it's been around a long time. I don't know exactly when it started. Because that might be my favorite. That might be my answer then. Because I do love Paris.
I wonder. I don't know how far back Paris dates, but I feel like that's like, I don't know, a couple. It's more than a few hundred years. I don't know. Probably like 1,000 years, maybe. I don't know.
Oh yeah, easy. At least that old.
But I don't. Yeah, it's just us today. Everybody else had stuff going on, or too busy for games.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Too busy for games. Who
I
could
know.
do such a thing?
Who could be too busy for games?
They're like, I don't play no games. Like,
I ain't played no games.
I ain't afraid of no games.
That's not true. There are games I'm afraid of.
An invisible game sleeping in my bed. What games are you afraid of, Pat? Let's unpack this.
Let me think. I'm afraid of. A lot of it is like those. I mean, when I say afraid of, I mean like they're also cool games, but there's like a lot of super indie like kind of creepypasta games.
Sure.
That are
like Ao-Oni or something.
Yeah, those are good. Those are effective. I still find those spooky. My cat is wanting to go on an adventure. And I don't know. I guess there's not that many games that I'm afraid to play. I mean, there's certain stuff like Outlast that I still think is probably too stressful for me to get my time's worth out of.
Sure. That's there's some like horror games where I'm just like, I don't need to deal with this.
Yeah, it's like not worth it for what you're getting.
Yeah.
So I guess I would say I'm afraid of them, but it's mostly if they were better games, then I could play them.
Yeah, right. We talked a lot last year about like Amnesia and stuff like that, and
those games kind of, I don't know, because I didn't think there was like exactly 2 parts of that most recent Amnesia game that I found actually scary. The rest of it was like, there were times when it was like tense, but like the like monster things, the Dementor things that are in that game, I didn't find particularly scary. They're cool and they're interesting enemies, but I didn't think they were particularly scary. Same with the ghouls. After that certain point, they no longer were scary to me, just like frustrating in a good way to deal with.
So I'm now realizing I'm having an issue with Audacity where it's pulled the wrong source, and so it's been recording both of us this whole time.
Oh,
that's lovely. It's only pulling you.
Oh, that's cool. Well, we should probably restart then.
Yeah, we should. Dang.
It happens to me all the time because since I do my podcast stuff and like something's always fucked up when I'm recording.
Dang it. Okay. Wait, why was okay? Yeah, I did this stupid move and I tried to update something before we podcasted.
That's okay.
And then of course it screwed everything up. All right, I'm gonna restart this. If you're in the Twitch chat, I don't think anyone is yet, but all right.
A live look. Okay.
Start recording on the OBS. Start recording on Audacity. Let's see. Google Docs. Boom. Now I gotta come up with a whole new intro. It'll be too wooden otherwise. All right. 50.
Okay.
No, wait, hold on. NVIDIA broadcast, damn it. I am just falling apart. Okay. On 5.
Okay.
There we go. Okay. Turn that back on. That's good. You're good. Okay. Hello and welcome to the Gaming Fix Podcast, episode 184 on August 7th, 2021. I am your host, Andre Cole, aka your partner's favorite link in your bookmarks folder. I'm joined today by Pat.
I don't think I have an answer for that one. I guess it's probably like, let's see, what's in my bookmarks folder. Let's take a look.
Do a dive.
I don't really use my bookmarks folder. I'm not putting this on stream because I don't know what's in here. The Dionea House is in here. That's a good website. Does it still operate? No, it doesn't work anymore.
I use it for like a lot of like if I see something, I'm like, oh, that'd be a good gift for someone. Then I like bookmark it, but then I never go back to look at.
That's my problem too. Oh, I got an Austin Walker soundboard in here. That's real good.
Did you? So you listen to Lore Reasons for Kingdom Hearts, right?
Mm-hmm. That's I think where this comes from.
Okay, maybe like and then Riku shows up like that super long, like it's not quite a loop because it is surprisingly long and like You think like, oh, it's a funny loop, but you're like, wait, this isn't a loop.
Yeah.
Also, what do y'all
And then
think of
Riku
machine
shows up.
elves? Peace. What is
Yeah.
this?
I'm trying to see if Riku shows up on this board. Our stream listeners get a good.
Fuck you!
There's one of him going, Fitty!
Yeah.
Okay, I won't go through all these, but
Yeah.
that's
Purple
got to be
Space Program.
Yeah, that's my favorite. That's my favorite one of those.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good favorite book link in your bookmarks folder.
Yeah.
I've got this like I don't even know. I really don't know. Just there's like so many things that are poorly named because it's just like I don't know fudge_2.jpg. What's this? I don't know.
What is
Let's-
that?
I don't know. Let's find out.
You sure you want to find out?
Hey, I'm not streaming. I don't know where it
It's
went.
it's my Twitch that's in trouble. It's not. It's ours collectively because I'm using our restream. So
Where did fudge_2.jpg go? There it is. Members web space has been retired. Well, take that off the bookmark list, I guess. Sorry, fudge_2.jpg. You didn't make the cut.
wow. Boomed.
Hey, they let their web space retire. What are you gonna do? But yeah, it's just us today. We're Alice and Alex are out this week. Sam wanted to join but was unable to. But maybe next week. But in the meantime, we do have a listener question this week. This one comes in from a friend of the podcast at Lawmanade on Twitter. And Lawmanade says, I still need to know the best indies people have played this year. Gimme. Let's hear it, Pat. What are the best indies you've played this year?
I haven't played a ton of indie games this year that I've been like, now this is good.
This is pod racing.
Yeah. It's not that I think it's been a bad year or anything, but like I guess Loop Hero was a big earlier one.
I fell off that hard. Like I played real hard for like a week and then I stopped.
That's how I am. That's how I have been with how I was with that. That's kind of how I was with Death's Door. I fell off that pretty quick. That's a lot of. There's not been a lot of games that have really grabbed me and made me want to play through them. One of the games that I'm talking about today, I would say, fits that category. So I'll talk about that soon. But yeah, I don't know. I want to. Part of it is how are we going to define indie? Like I picked up High Fleet because I want to play some of that. That looks like it could be really up my alley, but it also was published by Microprose, so I don't know if it counts as an indie game. It was kind of made by one dude, I think, or like a few people. It wasn't just one dude, but
Small team.
It's hard to say. So I don't know. Pokemon Unite. It's a little indie studio called Tencent made that. That one.
So they're really scrappy. They're trying to make some moves. I was going to talk about this later in the podcast, but perfect time to bring it up. I finished Cruelty Squad.
Yeah, that's
week.
actually on my list too.
That is a real hell of a game.
That game rules. I need to go finish it. I've only played about half of it, but
it's just the end is really bizarre.
Cool.
Like more bizarre than I expected.
If you've been playing that game and you say that the end is bizarre, that means that it must be really fucking out there.
It's just like where am I? Kind of a departure from the rest of the game.
Cool.
It's very strange. And I streamed me playing through like the back half of that game, and friend of the podcast, Chris Edgerton, joined me in my chat, and I was playing through this like swamp level, and he was saying this is the wettest he has ever heard like a game try to sound.
Nice.
And it is just absolutely nightmarish sound design in like the best way. Like they went for something and they really hit it, but it's awful and like offensive in some ways, just like to your senses.
Yeah, good.
And I really appreciate how hard they went for their gimmick.
Yeah, that game rules. I think when I finish it, it'll probably be high on my list.
Yeah, it's really something. And yeah, I played through Death's Door. It's fine. I'm not as high on it as other people. I enjoyed it, but let's see. Oh, Overboard. I like playing Overboard.
That's on my list. Game. Yep, I haven't played it yet, but I like Inkle stuff, so it's one I want to get to.
Let's see. Let me. Overboard. One Piece Pirate Warriors 4. No, that's Shores Unknown is in what's it called? Early access, and that's neat, like RPG.
I want to play that game that just hit early access, but I don't want to play it in early access because I kind of want to play it once it's done.
The Death Trash.
Yes, Death Trash. That is exactly the one. Yep.
Allison was talking up Dodgeball Academia, which I played like 10 minutes of earlier today, and it just wasn't like the right moment for me to play it.
Sure.
But I'm the way she described it was like Golf Story, sort of like a Golf Story style sports RPG, and it's like it doesn't play the same as Golf Story, but it's I guess the same kind of like, oh, you're doing like dodgeball to do other stuff, not just play dodgeball, I guess, maybe.
Cool.
And there's like a story and shonen anime inspiration. So thanks Lawmanade for that listener question. And if you want your listener question answered on air, if you head over to twitter.com/fixpodcasts, you can get in touch with us and leave a question. We'll read it on air. And with that, we'll get into our game talk.
Game talk.
Pat, what did you bring this week?
Well, I guess I'll start first with the thing I was alluding to. I'm gonna put up. This is gonna be really janky for our stream viewers, but whatever. I've been playing a game called The Forgotten City a little bit this week. If you are not familiar with it, I was not. Sam was the one who turned me on to it.
I saw it on Steam. This isn't early access, is it?
No.
It's out?
Well,
okay.
No, because this is a game that is built off of a Skyrim mod.
Right.
So originally this was a Skyrim mod, and it was a really like acclaimed Skyrim mod among Skyrim players, and I can see why it would be. So they spun it out and made it its own game. Obviously, when it was in Skyrim, it was not set in Rome. It was set like in Skyrim, but they've kind of adapted it to being about our world and Rome instead of being about the Elder Scrolls world. And what essentially happens is, like, I'll be very careful about talking too much about the narrative because that's what this game really is. But you wash up on a beach, and you actually get to pick a class, and the I don't know what ramifications that really has. There's like, you get like, oh, do you want to be an archaeologist, which means you'll know things about ancient history? Do you want to be an ex-military person, which means you'll have a gun with some bullets and stuff? And you end up, this woman beseeches you to go into this cave and find her friend Al, and you go into the cave and ultimately end up falling through a portal through time to this ancient Roman city that's kind of nestled in this crevasse and sort of locked away from society that nobody can escape. And they build their own little society there. And I'm going to talk like a little bit about the structure of the game. So if that's enough to make you like to whet your appetite, feel free to go in. I'm not going to spoil anything, but if you really want to go in blind, I would just say it's definitely worth your $25 to go pick it up. I think it's maybe a little short, but that's whatever. But once you get in there, you come to find out that the people who live in this city are subject to a golden rule, which means they cannot sin. What sinning is, it's like, who can say? They're still kind of not
just
sure.
Like real life.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not a Christian thing in this game. They use the word sin, but it has nothing to do with biblical sinning. Certainly killing people is considered a sin, and theft is considered a sin. Those are the two things that they know do. And if any one of the 23 people that lives in this city commits a sin, they all get turned into statues and die.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's like a form of collective punishment. So the leader of the city knows how to do this ritual. So if that happens, he can open this portal, and then you get sent back in a time loop to the beginning of like the day in that city. And basically all you can do is just like loop forever.
And just be like, hey, wait, don't do that. That's a sin.
Right. So that's the thing, is you have to try to figure out, the whole idea of the game is you've got these 23 people, and you know that one of them is planning on sinning, and you have to figure out who's going to do it and why they're doing it.
Okay.
And maybe it's multiple people, like it's basically a mystery. And you are, you're looping it over and over to try to solve the mystery. And what it leads to is interesting stuff that is, I don't think it's not like really an immersive sim. It doesn't have like systems that are quite that rich. But it's a fun adventure game because it'll have things like, maybe you'll figure out that there's, and I don't know how deep these get. They've been kind of obvious and not super satisfying to figure out in the early hours, but I think it's because they're just trying to really lead you along to help you get your head in the right space. But you might need like a certain object, and a character's like, well, I'm not giving it to you, but you could just steal it from them, and yes, it would trigger the end of the city, but then you have the item when you come back through the loop. So you come back to the loop then, and you don't have to steal it the second time because you went around. And I think the same thing is probably true with stuff like killing people, because there's not really, combat is not a big thing in the game, but obviously, I mean, you can start with a gun, you can find a weapon, I'm pretty sure, somewhere. And so it's interesting to poke at the systems, and it really does, like, anytime this game clearly is made off of Skyrim. Like, it looks, the movement is very similar to Skyrim, and when you talk to people, it does a very similar kind of like zoom in to Skyrim. So when you open chests, it'll have like a big thing that says steal over money and stuff. And when you do it, as soon as you hit steal, this voice is like, the many will suffer for the deeds of the one. Then you have to sprint to the portal and get away before the bunch of shit kills you.
This sounds very good, and it's another in a long line of time loop games that have been coming out in the past like 2-ish years.
Yeah, and it definitely is, and it's a pretty good one, I think, so far. The thing that I've been impressed by is this game clearly was made by a team of 3 people, so like it certainly has, like, I don't want to say polish issues here and there, but like the visuals are not going to be like super crazy high quality. It looks better than Skyrim at this point.
How clean are the faces?
Very clean. There's not a lot of character to the faces, but they look fine. That's probably like the weakest part of the game visually, but it's not bad or anything. And the voice acting and writing is the thing that has probably been the most like sort of impressive to me, for being from such a small team, because it is the writing is very clever. There's a lot of good. I spoiled a couple in our podcast chat, and I don't want to spoil too much of it, but there's really good referential stuff in there to like real life and stuff. Like there's a character who's like saying like, basically, I don't trust the community to not fuck up, because come on. And you can basically be like, yeah, I know how that is. I lived through a pandemic. So there's good stuff like that in there. And the voice acting has a certain sincerity to it that I appreciate. Like, it's not necessarily going to be the same quality of voice acting that you get out of, a Skyrim or whatever, like a AAA game, but it's better than I expected, and the people who are doing the voice acting clearly are engaged in the material a lot, and they're able to sell it, I think, better than I would have thought. A cast of kind of what I'm assuming is newer voice actors would have been able to. So it's cool. It's a good game. I think it's worth checking out. Maybe it ends up staying pretty, like, it's not super deep yet in terms of mechanics, and that may be the way it stays. But I think even just as a simple adventure game, even if it stays that way, it's pretty worth your time.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's The Forgotten City, only on Steam right now. Yeah.
I thought it was on. I think it's on console, because Sam is also playing it, and I believe he's playing it on PlayStation.
Right. Okay.
So, yep, it's around.
I need to check that out.
You'd like it, I
caught
think.
my eye on Steam. I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then people started talking about it, and I saw like positive buzz. I'm like, oh, okay, I need to get to that sooner rather than later.
Checked, it had overwhelmingly positive Steam reviews, which it was like a 98%, and it got a 9 on IGN and 9.5 from TechRaptor. Like, people, 98% out of 875 reviews. So people seem to really like it. And it's one of those, this team seems cool. They seem to be pretty smart, and they're it's cool that they're such a small team that grew from a modding group. So definitely I would suggest people pick it up, because it's good.
Yeah. They didn't want to have to port their mod to so many consoles with all the versions of Skyrim. They didn't want to put the mod on Alexa.
They did what we always talk about, right? Which is, wow, Game Informer called it a narrative masterpiece. The story is good so far.
I think they said the same thing about like Metal Gear Solid 2. So,
well, then they weren't wrong.
That's true.
The thing, I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I think it's just cool that they did the thing that we always talk about, which is they made their own thing. So they didn't try to make some like Skyrim EXE that then Bethesda could
of Skyrim
that Bethesda could shut down. Instead, they just made the thing. So
they weren't doing like that. We're remaking Fallout 4 or Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 4,
right? Which is cool, and I respect that stuff. But like, if you are good at making stuff, make something, make yourself something, get paid.
Yeah, make something new, and if you make a Patreon for that or whatever, like, totally, hey, go for it.
And based on this game, if this team was like, hey, can you give us $5 a month to make our next game, I'd probably fund that Patreon for a year. Like this is really good. So. Cool. It's cool. And
you're also.
I'm also back for blood. It's me.
Who's Whomst's blood?
Whomst's blood. Technically, I'm not the one back for blood. It's the zombies. It's zombies again. Back for Blood is the new game from Turtle Rock Studios, the original developers of Left 4 Dead, and also Evolve, the game that is near and dear to my heart, but was sadly, the world wasn't ready for Evolve, and also it had some issues too.
If that game had gone free to play like right off the bat, and
they just if they had beta tested that game and actually, but like with a
they didn't try to like go so hard into the esports right away.
Exactly. That was a huge problem with it, because balance was one of the major issues, and I think it could have gotten there if they had been more they had put themselves in a position to be more agile with like making changes to like core features of that game. Then it could have been good. But anyway, Back for Blood is their attempt at kind of rekindling the Left 4 Dead magic, and it is, let me be clear, it is Left 4 Dead. A lot of times we talk about these kind of games being like Vermintide and stuff, taking a lot of elements. This game is made by the original developers of Left 4 Dead, and you can tell.
This is like Harmonix losing Guitar Hero.
Yes.
Like in the Activision split or whatever, and then making Rock Band.
Yep. And I think it's pretty good. Actually, like the beta so far, a lot of old school Left 4 Dead fans are saying it sucks and they hate it, and they're canceling their pre-orders or whatever, and So I don't know what the reception is going to be when it actually comes out, but
they'll come back.
Whatever. I think it's pretty good. It fixes my two biggest issues with Left 4 Dead. I'm not a big Left 4 Dead fan. I think I recognize why people love those games, but I think the shooting in Left 4 Dead is pretty whatever. Like, I think the thing about it feels so much like Half-Life and Half-Life 2, and Half-Life 2 works because the weapons that it has in it specifically work really well in that specific kind of branch or whatever of the Source engine. Like when you play TF2, that's a Source engine game, but they did so much to make it feel like its own thing, whereas Left 4 Dead to me feels like a mod of Half-Life when I play it.
Sure.
And certainly a good one. I don't want to like imply that I think Left 4 Dead is bad or anything.
But it is a very like it seems kind of bolted on or something.
Yes, and I don't like the weapons in it at all, and that's a problem when the whole game is shooting zombies with the weapons. So I like the weapons in this game a lot more. Some of the SMGs feel like a little bit like you're using a squirt gun, so those could be better, but like the semi-auto rifles just like pop pretty well, and they have iron sights so you can aim, which is a thing I didn't like about Left 4 Dead, that you couldn't do that. So that stuff is good. And then the other thing that they fixed is Left 4 Dead just I really enjoyed playing through Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2 once. Like I remember when we played it was like my friends and I got together for I think we did it with like a LAN party setup, and played through it once, and then after that I was like, okay, I don't want to do this on other difficulties, I'm done. I didn't have a lot of interest in replaying it. This game has enough progression stuff popping off that I think it's interesting to keep playing it, because you're getting the big differences here, and where the progression works is you're unlocking these cards, and you build a deck, which is funny, but
so it's a deck builder, zombie 4-player co-op zombie shooter.
But basically the way that the deck of cards works is they're like modifiers, and you start off your character choice matters because it gives each character has a unique bonus, and then it gives everyone in your squad like card, basically like a bonus based on the character you pick. And so it could be things like I was playing my character I've settled into is Holly, and she's like good at melee. So when she hits people, she regains stamina with a melee weapon, whereas normally that it costs stamina to use the melee weapon. When she gets a melee kill, she refunds some stamina. And then I believe she makes everyone on the team like 10% faster movement. So then everybody gets a card that says like Holly, 10% faster movement. And then you also get a starter card, which I think is maybe always the same. Like the top card in your deck is one that you always start with, and it'll be something like, faster movement, more ammo. I'm looking on right now that when you heal a teammate, they heal for an additional 15 health over 30 seconds, like all kinds of weird little modifiers. And at the start of every like map, and the maps are not as long as Left 4 Dead, that they're more like smaller, but there's more of them. At the start of every map, you get to draw a new card and pick one to put into your like hand of cards, and then that increases more modifiers. So all that progression stuff is kind of on the meta level, which gives you something or like a reason to play over and over again, because you're leveling up the cards that you have access to, and they get kind of cool. Sure. So there's some cool synergies you can build and stuff. And then aside from that, I mean, it's very Left 4 Dead. The weapons are more that you can like put attachments on them and stuff, which is kind of cool. And in between each level in the safe room, there's a vendor you can buy stuff from using a currency that you pick up in the run. Okay. So it's not like a meta currency. It is like I have 1,500 copper, so I can buy attachments, and then you can also buy like group buffs and stuff like that. But yeah, ultimately it's pretty fun. I think I'd like to try to play through it on the higher difficulties. My only big concern with it is I don't know how much of the game the beta is. We played through we played half of what was in the beta last night, my friends and I, in about an hour and a half, maybe. So I think like maybe 2 hours. So, you know, you could play through the whole beta in 3.5 hours, 4 hours, maybe on the base difficulty. And I think I can't remember how much the game is. I want to say it's like a full price game.
Yeah, I assume so.
And it's certainly like, it's $60 game. If what's in the beta is only like, or if it's like half or more of what's in the full game, I think.
How many, like, is it like campaigns or like?
Yeah, so it's 8 levels, and they're arranged in a linear campaign. But once you've played through, I want to say once you played through any level, you can just start from there. And each level takes like 20 minutes or so. Now the way it looks in the menu is it really looks like they break the campaigns into acts. So they call like, this is like a specific campaign, and then it's like Act 1 and Act 2 is what's in the beta. So I'm hoping that maybe there's an Act 3 for this campaign, and then there's like one more campaign, because then at least you'd be getting like 24 of these levels, and I think that's probably enough at launch. But
I want to say Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 were like 16 levels like at launch, like 4 like kind of campaigns, or like 4 like and then 4 stages in each of those.
And I think that would be like, I'll be disappointed if I pay $60 for this game and it's only got 16 of these levels, because Left 4 Dead levels also felt a lot longer to me than these have, and maybe I'm misremembering. But these are pretty snappy, which is good. I mean, it's fine as long as there's enough of them. But yeah, it's and then the other thing is, I hope that since the cards kind of are the meta progression mechanic, I hope that there are more of them than what's in this beta. Because
it sounds like with something like that, they could turn it into like make this a game as service.
And I think that's the plan, is to add more stuff, which is fine. That'd be cool.
Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2 didn't really have that. Like, they added stuff to Left 4 Dead 2, like, we're putting all the Left 4 Dead 1 stuff, but like it wasn't like, there's like a battle pass thing and whatever, but like no cosmetics or anything like that. I saw that this isn't going to have like a competitive mode, there's not gonna be like a zombie versus humans.
Well, it has a versus mode. I think the thing people are complaining about is that the versus mode is like just you play through the campaign levels with people playing as some of the zombies, and I didn't play enough competitive Left 4 Dead to know how that's different than.
That's what Left 4 Dead was.
If you go on the Back 4 Blood subreddit, people will tell you on the Back 4 Blood subreddit that the developers of this game should have to like supplicate themselves in front of them and lash themselves 50 times for the versus mode in this game. Like, people are saying the versus mode is terrible, and I don't know. I haven't tried it. My friends, when I said, versus mode, my friends were like, only degenerates play versus in Left 4 Dead. So I'll probably have to try it on my own time. We'll see. One thing that's fun about this game, they call the zombies ridden.
Okay.
Which I think is because there's like, the zombies in this game are caused by worms.
Okay.
So they're like, the worms are riding them or something. I don't know. That's weird.
Like kind of like the spores in The Last of Us or whatever. They're zombified via not like a virus like Resident Evil, but some sort of fungus or parasite or whatever.
I'll say they're real fucking gross though. They did a good job with making them nasty. But yeah, I don't know. I think that the gameplay is really fun so far, and I think it's been a while since a good co-op shooter came out. And I was hoping, there's a
whole bunch on the horizon.
I know. I was hoping that Darktide was going to be that one, but it's not coming out till next year. Yeah, it's 40K one. It's not coming out till next year. I really want to.
Dead got delayed to next year.
I really want to pick up GTFO because it has matchmaking now. so you don't have to play with just friends. And I'm not gonna pull up a video, and I didn't put it in the doc, but I've been playing a fair bit of Hell Let Loose this week because that game hit its 1.0, and as is wild to me about that game, but about these games like it, but a bunch of people I know were like, well, now that it's in 1.0, I'm gonna pick it up, which I was like, well, it's kind of been the game. It's not like a story game where like they don't reset your progression even in Hell Let Loose for 1.0, but whatever. And since a bunch of friends picked it up early, I've been they all are like, what do I do, because that game is pretty complicated. And so I've been playing squad leader, because usually a buddy of mine was playing squad leader and I was playing like support or something, but this group of friends I needed a little bit of guidance, so I've been playing squad leader, and it's been made me go like, oh, I think I can handle more talking to strangers in games, because
you just need to find like a group. Like matchmaking is so hit and miss with that stuff.
Sure. But I think the harder the game, the more people are, and more complicated a game is, the more people are willing to talk you through stuff. Because like in Hell Let Loose, I gotta say, I heard there was one spicy fight that happened in between a commander and a squad leader in a game I was playing, and it was honestly funny to listen to. Because like there's a company called Easy Company that is a good, as far as I know, they run a lot of good Hell Let Loose servers. I don't really know anything about them beyond that. They have a rule
rolling down the street in my Panzer.
Yes, they have a rule in their servers that if you're a squad leader, you have to talk. You can't just like turn your mic off, and that's important. Like you shouldn't squad lead if you don't want to talk, because you have a channel where you can talk to the other squad leads and to the commander. And there's this guy who was leading, and he was like, the squad leader from Easy Company isn't talking, and he had been talking the whole game. I don't know why he thought he wasn't talking. And the guy was like, who are you talking about? And the commander was like, I'm talking about you, you bitch. And the guy was like, okay, well, you're never playing on an Easy Company server again. And the guy was like, what I said wasn't bad. Just relax. Don't report me. What I said wasn't a big deal. And the Easy guy was like, I didn't appreciate it, so see ya. And they banned him, and it's really funny. Anyway, that's the worst thing I've heard. That's the worst thing I've heard in Hell Let Loose, and that's saying something.
A game that is like that complicated and needs that much communication, like it's gonna weed out the people who just want to go in and be like an asshole.
Yes,
I feel like, because there's a lot of effort you have to put into like you can't just like lone wolf it and be like, oh, I'm so much better than everyone. You're all like, you all suck. Like,
yep. We played a great game last night where the commander was new, and he was like, he was saying some stuff, and some of the squad leads were like, okay, you really got to do this, this, and this. And that was when he said like, I'm sorry, I'm new. And they were like, oh, no worries. That's no big deal. Here's some stuff. And one of them was like, I recommend you check out the Reddit. There's a really good manual there, which the Hell Let Loose team put in the Steam updates. It's a really good manual. And one of the other people was like, that's a bit of a self-plug, isn't it? And it turned out that it was one of the guys who wrote the manual. And I was like, that manual is really good. And we were joking around about it and talking about it and stuff. And he was saying they're going to try to get it in a state where you can print it, or like you can buy a printed copy of it that's in the style of like an old 90s video game manual, which would be awesome. But yeah, cool community, cool game. I'm hoping something like GTFO, that I could play that with people and it would be a similarly good experience, because my friends, none of them will play that game because it's either too scary or too hard. It's kind of
I would love to play it. But it's like with so many games, it's just like time.
Absolutely,
and getting, like,
I'm not in
and like I could play for like 2 weeks and then I'd not be able to play for like 4 months.
GTFO is interesting too, because the game, like the maps change, and then every so often, and then they're gone. Like you can't, because they do these rundowns, and they're basically just like procedural with some handmade tweaks. It's not like they get rid of content really. But it's interesting. I'm gonna pick it up when it goes on sale next time.
That's because like part of the idea of GTFO is that it's like so difficult, and if you don't like kind of rotate things through and like, okay, these
then
maps
people
are done,
just figure
then
it
you
out. Yeah,
then
that's the
it's
point.
solved, and so it's a neat way to solve that problem. But yeah, it's a game I'd like to play, but I don't know if I'll ever find time in my life for it.
sure. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's mostly what I've been playing this week.
Nice.
I played another thing that I guess I'm technically under NDA about, which is stupid, but whatever. I won't talk about it.
You closing your blinds while you play?
Nope.
Oh,
I will say they
game?
do a thing. This doesn't break NDA to say this. This game is in a beta, and they do a thing. You know how they put like your name on screen, so if you stream or something, they can get you. Yeah. In this game, I guess because people have figured out that they can just put like a black box over their name or something in Twitch streams or whatever. This game, they fade in a code. It's big. It's like a small paragraph of text. They fade it in and then they fade it out and it moves and it fades in and fades out and moves and fades in and fades out. It is infuriating. It is awful. One person that I know who was in this beta was like, I'm not going to play this because I can't handle that. It's like freaking me out because it makes me look at it whenever it moves and I can't focus. And it's not even for a game that is like, if I told you I was playing it, I would be like, oh, I mean, you know what it is, but I would be like, oh, okay, whatever. I guess that game looks interesting. It's not like I have like Breath of the Wild 2 or something. It's not something that's like super hot.
Or was a Crossfire, to which is the one where you have to close your blinds. Like,
yeah, I mean that one is like similar caliber at this point. You know?
That game's also been out.
Yeah,
like I guess like not the new whatever it is, but you know, like that whole thing. Oh, if you play the beta, you got to close your blinds. Like, okay, fine.
Oh, did they say that?
That's in like the terms of service for
really funny.
The Crossfire beta.
Really funny.
You have to close your blinds when you play the game if you're in a room with windows.
That's very funny. Well, my blinds are always closed anyway, so whatever.
Yeah, exactly. You got these blackout curtains, baby.
I'm gonna check out that Naraka Blade Point next week too. That's my other.
Oh yeah, that's on PlayStation Plus right now. I forgot about that.
Nope. Different thing.
Oh no, that's the
similar thing.
The Battle Arena Legends.
Hunter's Legends or whatever.
Yeah, which is the most like free to play gotcha phone bullshit sounding name.
Yeah, I think that game. I tried that game. I talked about it on this podcast. It was kind of fun, but it was also. I think that game just.
I thought that
was in early. It's been in early access on PC on Steam for about a year. Not a year, 6 months, 7 months.
I see.
It is a little rough. I don't know. Maybe it'll grow into something good. I like the idea of it conceptually, but yeah. Naraka Blade Point is similar, but I think it's a little more honed and polished. And so I'm interested. We'll see. That could come out and suck, but I heard good things about the beta for that game, whereas Hunter's Arena Legends, people were like, what is this? Also, they do things like, I mean, they're a small team, so I'm not trying to bag on them hard, but Hunter's Arena Legends was like, if you stream the game, you could win like $100 Costco gift card or something like that. It was weird. Or Amazon gift card or something.
This is like a free-to-play mobile gotcha game.
It was so weird. It's not free-to-play either. Like, it's on PS Plus. But it's
going to be like...
On PC, it's $20. You have to... It's still $20. It's weird. It's funny. I hope that game gets picks up and is really good because the concept is cool and I liked what I played of it to an extent. I just don't think it was like, this was worth $20 to see what this thing is. What a weird idea. Not actually something I want to play for a long time. Sure. Whereas Naraka Blade Point, I don't know, looks cool.
Okay. Well, on the topic of betas, I have been playing a beta this week. I got into Splitgate after seeing some people talking it up.
I gotta play
Have you played it?
I haven't, but it's on my hard drive. Like I just haven't gotten around to it.
We gotta play together sometime because this game.
I was like, I haven't watched anybody playing it, and then people were saying it's cool, and I was like, I don't know if I want one of these. And then I finally saw like someone put down a portal and shoot someone through the portal from behind them, and I was like, "Oh my god, that was fucking awesome!"
Yeah. So Splitgate, basically the meets is this game is like Halo meets Portal,
and it sounds like maybe we need a good Halo game this year because there won't be one from Microsoft.
I haven't looked into it. Seems like people, I don't know. There have been people on both sides of that, so I have
okay,
no
that's good to hear. I've only heard two
yeah.
people say it's bad, but they could be just
I saw
could just be off
mostly
their...
positive sentiment on Twitter, at least that I saw, but
anyway,
who knows?
Splitgate.
This game is very like very Halo in a lot of ways. Like the weapons are like facsimiles of Halo weapons. Like there's less polish on them, but you've got like your AR and your battle rifle and like your carbine, like your single shot weapon. You've got a rocket launcher, sniper. You've got like a gravity hammer equivalent called the BFB, the big fucking bat.
That's cool. Knowing that really helps me because I sort of thought this game was like more like an Unreal Tournament thing.
No,
I didn't realize it was like a Halo in terms of its gameplay.
This is just like this has like basically Team Slayer. It's called Team Deathmatch, but it's Slayer. It's got SWAT. It's got King of the Hill, Oddball, VIP.
Because the concept of like the portal stuff seemed to, for a UT style game, I don't think I could handle it because that's moves so fast. But
yeah. Like,
looking
this
at
game
this,
moves quick.
But it's like it's Halo pace, which is a lot slower than.
Yeah, it moves quick because it's got the portals.
Yeah.
So around the level, much like in Portal, there are walls you can shoot and surfaces you can shoot portals onto, and there are other surfaces that you cannot shoot them onto, and like the surfaces you can shoot portals onto are like kind of like a blue metallic like hexagonal pattern on them, and then you've got a blue portal and like an orange portal, or whatever color, and so everyone has these portals, and you can run through any like set of portals, but you can only see through your own. So like I can shoot a portal like here, and then if there's like a corner over there or like an upper section, I can like shoot a portal in front of me up to the upper level, and I can run through there and I can be on the upper level. And then I can close this manually, or I could leave them open. I can turn around, I can look through, and I can shoot someone through the portal, stuff like that. So that leads to really funny situations where like someone runs through a portal and then someone else runs like through after them, and they're like hiding off to the side, and then you like hit them in the back and kill them, or get into these like Looney Tunes-esque Benny Hill like running through portals, and
that's really
stuff
funny.
Like that. Yeah, it's really fun, and like it can be frustrating because like you'll be like trying to like snipe someone, and then someone like shot a portal behind you onto the wall, and then they shot you through the through their portal, and you're like, why does this happen to me?
That's cool though.
But yeah,
when I remember this game when it was in much earlier beta, like you've been able to play this, people have been able to play this game for quite a while. And I just
got it this week, but
yeah. And back then it didn't look very good. It was very rough looking, but now it looks like it's much more like there's a lot more polish, and like it's a little more ready for prime time. Which is cool.
Yeah, they're I guess their servers, they made them with like pretty limited capacity, like relatively limited capacity. So like queue times have just been brutal. They've been like increasing their server capacity like pretty frequently, but they're still like queue times like half an hour or more sometimes.
That was part of why I haven't played it yet, because a friend of mine was playing it and he said it's really cool, but that his queue times are really bad. And I was like, well, I don't really.
Once you're in, it's fine. But it just like getting that initial login can take a while.
To log in initially. Sorry.
So it's not per match.
Okay, I was thinking it was per match.
To the game, yeah.
That's not so bad.
So it's like when you want to get into Final Fantasy or World of Warcraft, and like, there are too many people on.
Yeah.
So you just gotta wait. So once you do that, you're in, and then you just like queue times are really short for like actually playing around. And then they've got like rotating game modes. Like I think right now their rotating modes are free for all, and then teabag confirmed, which is you have to like much like kill confirmed in Call of Duty, but you have to teabag to pick up the.
That's
and it's
so
it's
stupid.
literally teabags hanging over the corpse.
Oh, that's
And
funny.
you go and you pick up the teabag, and then you can deny the teabag if you teabag your teammates, and like it's a little toxic, but
I mean,
but yeah, like it's people. Some people do not understand how to play it, so I'll be in a game like. So me and one dude both have like 8 points, and then our teammates have 0. And like they've got kills, but they have 0 points because they haven't teabagged anyone because it's like a unique mode that
I mean,
other games don't
honestly,
have.
as someone who's played a lot of Call of Duty in the last couple iterations, people still do that for Call of Duty. But there'll be times when people are just like not picking up the dog tags, and it's like, fuck, come on.
Yeah. I've enjoyed playing Gun Game in there.
Oh man, that's cool that they have that.
Yeah, Gun Game, it's completely free for all, and then you've got to get like 22 kills, and if you melee, then the person's. So yeah, if you don't know Gun Game, everyone starts off with the same gun, and when you get a kill, then your gun will change into like a next level gun, and then in Splitgate, because there are only like 11 guns or something, once you get to like the 11th kill or whatever, then it starts going backwards through that chain, and at the end your last kill has to be with just your fists. Which is, that's fun, and it's a nice way to play and try all the weapons and stuff, and because you've got 6 people or 5 other people all shooting portals around and firing at each other, it gets really chaotic.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Like playing this on PC, like it's also on console and like crossplay and all that stuff. But now I'm like, maybe I do want to play Halo again after playing, like, we'll see how Infinite is with the multiplayer and stuff, but like playing,
it'll be free.
Like, maybe there is like a spot for Halo in my current life, but yeah, that's got the grappling hook and like, they're all their stuff. It doesn't have the portals, but it can do its own thing. So yeah, Splitgate is really cool, and I would recommend people check it out if you're looking for a multiplayer shooter.
Yeah,
and we should definitely play together sometime.
Absolutely, yeah.
I've been playing with like some people from a small streaming community, and we hop on, play some games. Good stuff. And it's early enough and popular enough that like you can have games where you just absolutely stomp. Like I had a game where I went like 33-3, got 15 kills in a row. It's like, because I was just like standing up on a platform on the side, and like I found a sniper, and then, or I think it was SWAT, so I just had like a carbine and a battle rifle, and nobody tried to do anything to me. They just didn't see me or something. I don't know, but it's a good time.
Cool.
The other thing I've been playing has been more of like an educational experience for me, which is the Nintendo and modern Pokemon hater, have jumped into Let's Go Pikachu. With a twist, I'm playing in Japanese. And
yeah, when you first were talking about this, I thought you meant that you were emulating Hey You Pikachu.
No.
And I was like, that would be really hard to play in Japanese, but good for you.
That would be, it's, I would be like, I don't even know what you would say. Just oi Pikachu.
I mean, it had to have been localized in Japan, right? So
I don't know what the commands, but there, that was all like very simple stuff. But no, I'm playing through Let's Go Pikachu, the modern game, that came out 2 years ago now, right? 2 years ago. That is a recreation of like Red, Blue, or Yellow, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I'm playing through that in Japanese. This is the first game I've played in Japanese, and I'm trying to like actually go through and like make sense of as many like conversations and signs and like Pokedex entries as I can as I'm going through, and then like pulling up a dictionary when I get confused, like I don't know what this, like I can understand a lot of it, but this word is like really tripping me up, and pull up the dictionary and look at that.
Sure.
And it's like it's really like flexing my reading muscles. Like I can read all right in Japanese when like I know like the subject matter, or when it's appropriate level.
Right.
And so this is like the first kind of native like thing for Japanese people that I'm playing,
Yeah.
and it's like it's satisfying to be able to actually read the
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I wish I could do so. They have like mode with kana, which is just hiragana, katakana, and then they have a mode with kanji, which is like the very complicated
Right.
Chinese characters with multiple readings and meanings and all that stuff. And I want to play with the kanji, but I just don't know enough.
Right.
And they don't put like the reading of it over it, which a lot of some games do. Like I think Dragon Quest 9, which my girlfriend has on 3DS, like has the furigana, which is the reading of it.
Mm-hmm.
If they did that, I would play with the kanji, and that would help me out so much with the meanings, because I'd be like, you look up like there's a lot of homonyms in Japanese, many homonyms, and so like what happened was the perfect encapsulation of this, and I have this in a YouTube video that I'm going to put up, is my Pikachu leveled up like level 10 or something, and it learned a new move, and it's called Nidogeri. And I was like, okay, what's this move? And I'm like, okay. So I was reading the description. I'm like, oh, I know what this move is, but I want to like try and figure out what it's actually called in Japanese. Like, how does it translate? And I'm like, okay, well, Nido is probably like 2 times or like double.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, Geri, what does Geri actually mean? And I put that in the dictionary thing, and the like 80% of the results are diarrhea. So I'm just like, okay, Pikachu just learned double diarrhea.
Yes.
And it did not have the actual
so quick attack.
It did not have the actual definition. It's double kick, but it did not have like kick anywhere on this dictionary page. So I'm just like, I can read the description and understand enough of that. Like the first thing, it says like it uses its 2 feet or 2 legs, but
yeah, that's
double
funny.
Diarrhea. That's okay.
Very funny.
I guess so. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, I learned a lot of vocab from playing Pokemon games when I was a kid. I knew how to read by the time they came out, but I remember reading them gave me a lot of vocabulary practice. So
yeah. And yeah, so like I don't know how well I'm retaining stuff. Like there's certain words that come up a lot where I'm like, oh, okay, I can remember this. Like Hakase, like Okido Hakase, which is basically what they call Professor Oak, and it's like kind of a sensei equivalent, but like slightly different. And so like learning stuff like that, and then like because it's all kana, I'm like the ha can sometimes be wa, which doesn't make sense, but they do it that way. Yeah. So I'll say wakase when I'm like trying to read it. I'm like, wait, no, it's not wakase, it's hakase. And so there's like stuff like that. But yeah, it's been fun and satisfying learning by actually playing a game in Japanese.
Yeah.
I wanted to try with Monster Hunter Stories 2, but the intro to that game is just like a movie. And I was like able to pick out like bits and like, okay, I think I know what's going on here. And, there's like stuff happening. So you can be like, oh, okay, this is what's kind of going on. But it was just moving too fast for me to like actually be able to comprehend.
You should play Final Fantasy 14 in...
Oh, God, no. Absolutely not. I do want to go back and try Monster Hunter Stories 2 in Japanese at some point, maybe next year. Maybe I'll play like Brilliant Diamond or Shining Pearl in Japanese later this year. But right now I'm putting Let's Go Pikachu, my journey through that in Japanese, up on YouTube. I'll put like the link for that in the show notes or something, and I'll be tweeting about it. So people should check that out because it's very silly. You can see me go, I don't think this move is called double diarrhea, but who knows? So yeah, I've been playing some other stuff, but kind of that's the majority of what I've been playing recently.
Oh, I've been playing something else too, but we'll talk about that in the future.
I've been doing I picked up Ring Fit too, but I'm gonna wait until I've been doing that for a little bit longer before I talk about that.
Somebody should make a Ringu Fit
God, you have to crawl through the ring.
Yeah, and it comes out of the TV. Yeah.
Oh God, that's
Folks, the joke writes itself, so I don't need to get into it. But
yeah, well, I'll see what I can do. But yeah, that's gonna do it for our game talk. We got through that quick. I guess when it's only two of us, it's
exactly.
really easy to
yeah, I knew it would be.
We can move on to the super exciting news this week. So continuing off the past few weeks.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I was gonna say,
go for it.
This isn't really news, but it's funny. My partner has been playing a little bit of Final Fantasy 14, and she was like, "Oh, I gotta hit the button so it doesn't log me out." And I was like, "What are you talking about? There's no logout timer in Final Fantasy 14." And she's like, "Yeah, there is." And I was like, "No, there isn't. I remember it's always been a problem because that's why there's always a server queue, because people just sit and leave themselves logged in and stuff." And she was like, "I'm telling you, there is a thing." We didn't quite get to like actually arguing over it, but I was like, "Trust me, there isn't." Turns out they just added a logout inactivity timer like a week ago.
I think we talked about this on the episode you were off. Maybe
probably while I was at Spa. Yeah. So it was funny because I was like, "They do not have one," and she was like, "Yes, they do." And then I was like, "I'm gonna Google it," and then I Googled it, and they have.
Yeah, it was Yoshi P was like, people were like, "Oh, I guess I'm gonna log out to like clear the servers to like be nice, or I won't eat and like watch people walk around Limsa Lominsa." And Yoshi P was like, "No, you don't have to do that. Like, it's part of role playing. Like, we know like it's important to like just if you need to chill out to like get your head ready for like doing difficult end game content, we understand that.
Yep,
that's okay. It's just to stop people from idling for too long."
Yeah,
and like it was very like Yoshi P seems like he seems a good dude.
Cool person.
Actually plays games and understands like.
It was when A Realm Reborn launched, it was a nightmare. You had I remember I left. We used to have to go. I had to shut my PC down because I played on a laptop. It was before I had a gaming PC, and so. But like when I was gonna have like a full day to be able to play, I had to basically set up the login queue the night before so that it could sit in the 6-hour login queue while I went to bed. Because it was so congested and there was no inactivity timer, so people would just, because it was so bad, people would just leave themselves logged in all the time. And I think that's sort of also what fostered because at the time they were like, "Could you please log out if you're done playing, because it helps." And so that's probably why the community has that mentality now.
Yeah, and like they're definitely going to. Like, this isn't a permanent thing. I believe they've said it's like a limited thing. Well, like interest is super high, and they might bring it back for Endwalker for a bit. But...
This is a roundabout way before we get in the news, since our game talk was fast, for me to quickly hit on. I think it's very funny that there's a huge exodus of WoW players into Final Fantasy, because like my partner's enjoying playing Final Fantasy and stuff, but and I love the game. Obviously, it is so incredibly different from WoW. So I do think that there's going to be a lot of WoW players who come to it and they're like, "Why do people say this is such a great MMO?" Because I think it's a great game. It's becoming one of my favorite games. I don't know if I think it's a great MMO in the like traditional sense, because it's so much of it is a single player game where you have to queue up for dungeons now and then. Because it is just like the pace and the way that the game works is so incredibly different from something like WoW, and like there's not the same kind of like in WoW you have to go like, okay, I need to do this raid because I need this piece of gear and this boss drops it, so I need to run this raid every week with my character to try to get that piece of gear. Whereas in Final Fantasy, it's like, even if you get to the end game, it's like, well, I want this piece of gear, so I'm gonna grind out these like pieces of currency to be able to buy this thing that then will let me do this. I don't know. It's a very different.
Turn my head into a frog.
It's a very different game than something like WoW. So I suspect that a lot of the people coming over will be like, "Oh, this is not what I was sold on.
Are people doing? I mean, I'm like, even though I play Final Fantasy 14, like I'm pretty divorced from like that kind of like style of play.
Yeah.
But isn't like a big draw of like the MMOs, like the community aspect, and like, oh, I'm playing with my friends. I mean, there is like we did the hard thing and we accomplished this, but I don't know, like, does it matter if it's not like the exact same kind of grind if they're like still doing it with people?
I mean, I think the thing is, and this is sort of true of WoW retail now too, and it's different in Classic, but there is a certain like, it doesn't feel quite as meaningful when you're when you're beating the content because you queue for it and you're dumped in with like with 20 people, and like one of them is like, okay, so for this fight we do this, this, and this, and everyone goes okay, and then you just kind of go through the motions.
But I mean, isn't WoW kind of at that point, and like that's kind of part of it being it's a game that has existed for quite a while. There's not any new content immediately,
and most of my window into it is Classic. I don't know what rating is like in retail. I can tell you in Classic, yes, you're told how the fights work, but it's a lot harder. It's a lot more it's less like stand here kind of mechanics and attack this thing kind of mechanics, and that happens too, but it's also things like if our rogues don't kick this enemy to stun them every 40 seconds, the whole raid will wipe. Whereas there's some of that in Final Fantasy, but it just
it seems like kind of off the main path. Like I've heard stuff about like if you've got like certain buffs, then you got to go you have to go inside the boss, and I'm like,
that's a thing in one of the raids. But I think, I don't know, something about it with Final Fantasy is and I say this as someone who loves it, is it's like the fight gets explained to me, it takes 5 minutes, and then I'm like, okay, well, I'm probably never going to do that again. I might do it again if it comes up in a duty roulette, but the odds that it does, whatever. Whereas in WoW Classic, I know my partner, it'll be like 3 months of them running the same raid every week, and that may sound dreadful to somebody. It's fair if you don't want to do that, but it's a very different thing than Final Fantasy. My friends at Endgame in Final Fantasy, it took them a couple weeks to get through the current raids, but they are not running the raids every week. They're done. They finished them, and they're like, okay, I'm done. Give me the next story thing. So it's just a very different thing. And definitely. I think there's a lot of Final Fantasy players who don't have the WoW experience, so they're kind of like, it's just better, and don't necessarily understand that like it's a fundamentally different kind of experience. And so we'll see how it progresses. It'll be fun to see how that community goes, but the story's really good. So I finished Stormblood, and the patches got draggy there for a little bit, but now they're back to good. So
and then you're almost on to Shadowbringers. I'm speaking of dragon, I'm dragging behind. But
you got time. I wanted to give myself like a full month before Endwalker comes out to play some other stuff. But it's not coming out for like still like 3.5 months.
I really just got to devote myself to like a few days here and there of straight Final Fantasy 14. But
Stormblood moves pretty quick, even though it's not amazing. So
let's see. I think I'm in Wano now. I think
Wano.
Yeah, Wano, like the samurai place.
Oh, okay.
I did like the stuff like under the sea.
Down where it's better.
It was certainly wetter. You can take it from me.
They have a fucking, last thing I'll say, in that area, in order to get one of the quests for the flight for the Aether Currents, you have to do a fucking dungeon.
I feel like that's been in.
I don't think there was any of them. I don't think Heavensward had anything like that, where you had to do a dungeon to get a flight point.
I think there was in one of the areas.
Maybe that's.
Anyway, I think so. But like that stuff. Like I don't. Currently, I just kind of bust through the area, because by the time I get all of the things, I'll be done with that area.
Yeah.
So like if I decide to keep playing and like want to go back to those areas, then I'll like collect all that stuff. But for now, I'm not concerning myself with it. And like stuff in Heavensward broke me of that habit, because I'd be like, oh, I need to. But then eventually I did go back to those areas and was like, oh, okay, I can fly around now. At least that'll speed things up. But yeah, it was like I just spent like an hour trying to collect all the things, and then the last one I needed was I had to like go through like a story thing and go through a dungeon, and then I was into a new area, and then
You definitely had to do dungeons as part of the story to get the flight stuff.
Yeah.
But this is like one of the blue quests. Is a side dungeon that the story does not require you to do, and so at some point I got to do it. Maybe I'm just forgetting.
But whatever. But yeah, time for news. This week the Activision Blizzard saga continues, and surprisingly, but not surprisingly, J. Allen Brack steps down from his position.
J. Allen Brack found another job somewhere. That's what really happened.
He doesn't need another job. Like,
no,
really, but probably. But also, I wouldn't want to bring Brack in if I was another company. But
I'm pretty sure he lined something, because the way they framed it was that he was leaving to pursue another opportunity.
But really, I think that's just to make it sound like he wasn't being forced out by like C-suite executives like Kotick and Townsend.
I just guess I don't think he was, because why do they care? Why would they do that?
Because then they can point at him being gone. See, we're working to solve the problems. We're dealing with it.
But they haven't done that. Instead, they were like, they didn't mention the issues present like at all when in the statement about him leaving.
Yeah. But they also don't want to like draw more attention to it and stuff. But that that is a thing they can like point to, at least internally, and and like the perception, because that was my first thought was, oh, this was like with the timing and everything, like this is a decision from like up top, and like him being forced out. Like
I'm sure it worked out well for everyone, but I would bet he's already got a new job, and I bet it has nothing to do with video games.
Maybe.
And we'll probably never even hear about it again. But
if I was the company who hired him, I'd certainly be going.
I don't think companies care.
Are you going to start? Maybe, yeah.
I think that's how we got here.
Yeah,
is that people don't care. I mean, Kotick is a deplorable person.
Yeah,
and the fact that they love him. If you can have a fucking Trumper lawyer on staff and that's just like fine. I think it's like I don't think that they really care. I'm sure. I think it's convenient for Brack to leave, but I bet you that he found something that was nice and easy to do.
He is replaced by Mike Ibarra and Jen O'Neill, two people taking over his position. But like you said, there was no kind of discussion of the issues at hand in kind of their statements. So we'll see how that goes. They're they were part of like management and like high in the company, so how much are they complicit in what's happened? Like I know Mike Ibarra hasn't been there for a super long time. He was over at Xbox, and then has been at Blizzard for a few years. Was he working on Overwatch? Was that what he was doing?
I don't know. I've seen a few people say he's a good dude who worked there, like not just people who might be the ones doing the damage, but like multiple, like I saw like one, I can't remember, it was just like a random thing on Twitter. I don't remember who was saying it, but that sounds good. And it sounds like Jen she was at Vicarious Visions.
She was the head of Vicarious Visions. Yeah.
And it sounds like she's pretty cool, has been a pretty cool person to work for there. So hopefully it's a better change, but I've also heard people say that this also suggests that Kotick will have a lot more control over what happens at Activision or at Blizzard.
Yeah, maybe.
Because Kotick's dream is to kind of break down Blizzard's culture so that they can just be sort of more integrated into Activision as a whole.
Maybe that was part of the whole like shoving Vicarious Visions and
absolutely
Raven or I guess Raven's still in Call of Duty, but like basically
was
Toys for Bob and
Beanox was one? I can't remember.
Beanox, a bunch of basically just shoving all those studios into Blizzard.
Yeah, what Kotick wants is to make Blizzard
Activision people.
I think Kotick just wants it to be Activision, and Blizzard's just an imprint that they put on certain stuff, PC games.
And then they can basically go, we can put Blizzard on anything.
That's the idea,
because like even Blizzard was like being like weird about the BattleNet stuff and like, oh, we don't want Call of Duty on BattleNet and like like whatever. Like they're the same company. They've always been the same, or not always, but they've been the same company for years.
I think there's a certain identity to Blizzard that, as someone who works at a company that is now part of a larger portfolio of companies owned by an investor, if they were just like, we're just going to call your website the larger group, I would be like, fuck this. I mean, it would bother me. So I get it. I mean, like Blizzard had an office. They had a culture that was incredibly toxic, apparently. But like, I get not wanting to be subsumed by Activision. But it sounds like it's probably what's going to happen. And if Activision was better, I would be more positive on it. If it was a case of the larger company has a really healthy culture and they're going to change the shitty parts about the smaller company, great. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. So.
Another bit that came out about this yesterday, I believe, was Fran Townsend, the former Bush. I can't even remember what she did. She was the one who was defending torture and whatnot.
Department of Homeland Security lawyer, I think.
Yeah, something like that. She stepped down from her position as like the women empowerment. What was it?
Probably a bullshit appointment anyway.
Yeah. She deleted her Twitter account this week.
Which, good riddance.
Women's Network sponsor. That's what she stepped down as. She was the head of the Women's Network sponsor. But also, like, I feel like that was kind of like another, we're listening. We're, like kind of because she put out like just an absolutely awful statement.
Of course.
And so, her stepping down is like, we're listening, and so they can avoid trying to make any real change.
Yep.
And they can like point that like, oh no, you don't need to unionize, like we're leaving it to you, and we're trying to stay out of your way or whatever. But it's
hopefully just support hopefully unionization efforts happen there, and if for no other reason, then it'll be a thorn in their side.
Yeah, they've like kind of like, what do they call themselves? They called themselves something like they're kind of like
employees of Activision Blizzard.
No. There was like a collective, or I don't know. They're basically like, we're talking and we're like trying to addressing these issues, not unionized.
Yeah, well,
but maybe
that's because
that's like a step on the the way to unionization. Like
they talked about this on Waypoint Radio a little bit, but like when you're taking efforts to unionize, you should not tell anyone.
No,
it's very important that those conversations happen quietly and privately among the workers, and so it does not get back to management, who will try to undermine those efforts. You do not have to you get to present your unionization vote without. There shouldn't need to be a public campaign for it, and if you're a reporter, you shouldn't fucking ask, because it hurts unionization efforts if the person has to then answer a reporter's question about it.
Let's see. Like there was something recently, like they had like some sort of grouping of employees, like we're like a coalition or something.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. I saw that too.
Yeah, on the way to like, there's like at least like people working together to like address these issues. But if it leads to unionization, who knows? But so that's kind of the situation of Blizzard Activision, or Activision Blizzard for now. And we'll continue to see where it goes. I didn't expect to see Brack out so soon.
Me neither.
Which is the only reason that like the timing of this is all like really weird, which is the reason I'm like, I don't think he's like actually going on to like a new position right now. I think it was just
to be clear, I don't think it was a planned like. I think it's probably that it's pretty easy for someone like him to find consultancy work or something, you know.
Maybe.
I think that he to clarify, I guess, I think that the reason he's leaving is because of all this stuff. But I also think that he found another job quick, and so it was convenient for him to leave. It's not a like situation where he's like, it's not a like he got fired. It's more like, you know what, I can just leave, and that'll do
you know,
something.
I think maybe if they wanted to do like the PR, we're fixing things, they would have made like a more of a public show about it. But it's hard to say. But
it's also important to remember there's a lawsuit tied to all this, so a lot of these public maneuverings are about minimizing damages for them to in the lawsuit.
Definitely.
Which sucks, by the way. That's not a defense of what they're doing. It's bullshit.
Yeah, it's trash. But our next news story is about everyone's favorite conglomerate, the Embracer Group. They're embracing even more studios, including. So I guess I don't even know. Like, this story was weird. It was on Video Games Chronicle. A lot of like, didn't they already like get Coffee Stain, and like some of these things seem like kind of like ancillary. Like, yes, we got Coffee Stain, so that means we got XYZ. Like,
I think so. Yeah, I don't know.
Games, makers of Deep Rock Galactic, and 3D Realms, makers of Duke Nukem.
3D Realms also a place that had some rampant shittiness recently that I feel like everyone forgot about.
Because like no one thinks about 3D Realms, because what do they do now?
Put out things like Ion Maiden and be transphobic.
Oh, were they were Ion Maiden?
I think they were. I think I'm remembering.
Yeah, no,
correctly.
that sounds right. Yeah, yeah. And like I think that's because Gearbox owns 3D Realms.
Ion Fury,
some
not
way.
Iron Maiden.
Could they had to change the name because Iron Maiden sued them.
Ion Fury was not developed by 3D Realms; it was published by them.
Okay.
But I want to say they were the ones who were saying the super transphobic garbage around the release of that game.
I think that was the developer,
or at least we're supporting the developer. I don't remember.
It's a whole. Surprise, surprise. The creators of Duke Nukem are not. But even like, are the creators of Duke Nukem there anymore? Probably not.
I don't know. It's hard to know.
Like, yeah.
And actually, Duke Nukem, for being what it is has a lot of satire in it. So
yeah. Oh yeah. No,
who knows? I wouldn't be that surprised if the people who are directly involved in Duke Nukem are cool at this point. But yeah, I don't know. It's all these like Embracer Group buying all these studios is certainly not as bad as if they were all being bought by a hardware manufacturer. But it also is kind of like, what even is indie anymore?
Yeah, I think a lot of these were like, I guess it's like finalizing deals that because they were like subsidiaries of other companies they bought, and like so making that official, maybe they had to like come to an agreement or something.
Yeah,
with these studios.
It's probably also that the studios had something in their like purchasing contract with the parents that bought them. That's like, hey, if we get bought, you get to choose if you want to go with us or not, kind of thing.
Yeah. And they just put it out like all at the same time, like, hey, we closed all these deals. And so the story did confirm for me that Embracer Group does own Gearbox now, but I guess 2K still like has the Borderlands IP, which is why they like publish all that stuff. But Gearbox, so are they making like some Alien game or something? What is Gearbox doing now?
What was I just played whatever thing they have coming out.
No.
I think it was like a beta, there was a beta for something. I thought
a card game. Did they have a card game?
I don't remember. This is bad because I feel like maybe not.
Gearbox Tribes of Midgard.
Maybe that's what it was. I didn't play that, but they're
publishing that. World of Warships Legends?
No, I don't think I played something of theirs.
Yeah, so they're publishing.
They have that
Tribes of Midgard.
Tiny
That's the
Tina's
only thing.
Wonderlands game coming,
Right?
but that's
Yeah,
a
that's
Borderlands
coming.
thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So that has to be under 2K. So I don't know.
Yeah, right.
That's weird.
Oh,
I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah. Embracer Group, they're getting bigger and bigger.
I worry about that because
Sure.
a lot of these companies, a lot of these investment groups that buy these companies are like just trying to pan for gold, and
As soon as they hit it, like everything else is in the trash.
Well, and video games, they're too late, I think. Like COVID is people are going back out into the world and stuff, whether they
Sure.
should or not. And I think part of the reason there was like I could see being like, well, during COVID, it makes sense to invest in a video game company because everybody's stuck at home. But I don't know. I guess
Are you the one who wrote this Washington Post article op-ed about
Christ,
how
no.
sorry Nintendo and PlayStation, or sorry Nintendo and Sony, we're done with games?
Oh no! I mean, well, no, obviously, I don't think anybody's like done with games. But I guess my point is, the timing for a lot of this stuff is like, I don't know. There's gonna be the big Sony games next year. And then they're going to be back on a kind of more normal release schedule. I guess I don't know that it feels like about a year too late for a lot of these studios being like huge, like really solid financial investments. Not that I think that the studios are going to be in any kind of real trouble.
Yeah.
In particular, like I think that their games are good. A lot of these studios make really good games, and that's fine. But I guess from the perspective of an investor who's like, well, it's great that you made a record profit this year, but it's not 10% more than what you made last year. So layoffs, baby. Like that's how investors work. Like they expect a certain return, and when they don't get it, they make changes. And so
definitely
it's concerning to me that groups like this are doing it. And every single time they say, well, we love and know games, and every single time they're lying out their ass. Like they don't give a fuck. So I don't know.
How do you do?
Hope I'm wrong. And that this is the rare instance where Embracer Group is actually like good and cares about the games and the people making them, but I doubt it.
Well, we'll see. Our next news story. You can tell us all about this one, Pat. Amazon's New World delayed yet again.
So fucking frustrating.
This time only a month.
I mean, of course, I want people's lives to be good. So like, if this is like, if they looked at it and were like, okay, we found a 50 item long bug list, we need to work 80-hour weeks before the game comes out to hit it, and that's why they delayed it.
50 items long, that's nothing.
I know, that's of course.
Yeah.
But you know, if that's what happened, then good on them. Push it back a month, let people work normal work weeks. But like, I think it'd be funny if Amazon was the company that did that. But it's, I don't quite, they say it, they want to polish it and more and fix bugs, but the beta was in really good shape. It felt like it was like ready to go. I didn't run into any problems playing it myself. There weren't any issues. I mean, the biggest issue I have with that game is I think that they need like 2 or 3 more weapons in it, because there's only like 6 weapon types, and I think that'll probably get old. But I doubt they're going to be adding. I want them to add braces of flintlocks as pistols as a weapon type. They're not adding that over the course of 1 month. So I don't know. It was very frustrating because, you know, some friends and I'm still going to keep my pre-order and play it because I liked it, but some friends and I were talking about like it being it's going to come out. We're going to play it for 2 months. I was hoping to be like mostly wrapped up with Final Fantasy stuff. It's going to do a big push to be like hopefully finishing Shadowbringers as it was coming out, so I could kind of do the patches. But and then I was like, then we'll have New World to play for like 2 months, and then Battlefield will come out, and then Endwalker will come out, and then New World can kind of like, we'll grind out levels, and then it'll kind of be like a maintenance kind of game, just play it for fun here and there. And now it's like, well, it's only 1 month before Battlefield now. We're not going to like max out characters in that time. So some people I think are just going to bail on it because it's like, well, there's Battlefield then and Walker. So it's a bummer, but hopefully it's for the right reasons.
Yeah, definitely. It is. This game is so many delays, and that it's like it's as soon as it's almost here, just one more.
I also think it's, again, this isn't anything against them if they needed to do it to improve people's lives, but it's kind of irritating that to get into the beta you had to pre-order it, so they got everybody to pre-order it, and then they're like, gotcha, one more month. I mean, you could cancel your pre-order, but still,
they don't charge you until they ship it or whatever. So
well, no, not if you bought it on Steam. I paid for it when I bought it.
Right, yeah.
Same thing if you bought it on Amazon. Actually, I think it's just
really,
yeah, because they send you a Steam key. Maybe not.
I saw people maybe because for the beta, but I saw people saying for like Back 4 Blood, they like pre-ordered it on Amazon and then they could cancel, so they didn't like get charged or anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't pay shit for my Back 4 Blood beta. They just sent me an email.
Or it might have been like a $5 pre-order that you could cancel.
Yeah, I don't know. Amazon sends you a Steam key for the beta when you pre-order it through them. So just go to Steam. But yeah,
but like that's presumably a different code than like the actual game code. So
I think it's the actual game code that you end up with. I don't know though for sure.
Weird.
But either way, you could totally refund it. I just still think it's kind of like, if I had known it was, I would just have never given them any money at all if I had known it was going to be another month. But by doing the beta, they got me, and now it's like, well, it's kind of more trouble than it's worth to go refund it and then rebuy it.
Now you have to play it.
And Steam does sometimes take a cursory look at your refund history before they offer, like, they don't deny you necessarily, but I have heard stories of them saying no more refunds for you to people who buy and refund games like every week or whatever. So
then you're just being tedious and because
it
it does like have an impact on developers when people do that,
of course,
like chargebacks and whatnot. So
anyway, it's funny. It'll be fine in the end. I saw one early access game I wasn't even following. I don't even remember what it was called. That was like, we're releasing a week early on Steam, and I want more. Give me more of that energy. Tell me your game's coming out. Tell me New World's coming out in 6 months, and then put it out next month as a treat.
Sure. Wouldn't it be nice?
Yeah.
Our next story. Speaking of things that would be nice, construction has supposedly started on a Donkey Kong themed expansion for Nintendo Land at Universal Studios Japan. Not a lot to the story. Like, basically some cranes showed up like outside Nintendo World at USJ.
You have to climb them.
Yeah, you have to, and then they throw barrels down.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so they're already, like, that opened this year and they're already expanding it, which is pretty neat. But it also took them, like, I feel like they were working on Nintendo World for like 3 years or something.
Yeah.
And so I assume it'll probably be a similar length for Donkey Kong stuff. I'm not sure if Donkey Kong is the thing I would have picked for like the expansion, but I don't know what I would choose from like the Nintendo
for that kind of part, because USJ is like kind of surrounded by city, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's in the bay, so it's like got ocean and it's got city all around. And
because the thing that I think would be cool is to make like a either Pokemon themed or Zelda themed, and Pokemon's obviously not. It's more complicated, right? Because it's Game Freak.
They did make like a Pokemon nature park where it's not like a theme park thing, but you can go through and you can find like a little Pokemon made of like natural materials.
It's cool.
Like scattered about. I think it's like in Tokyo, or maybe not in Tokyo. It's somewhere, and there's like I want to say like 40-acre like nature park where you can see like, oh, here's a Pikachu made out of
trash,
dead mice. I don't know.
No, I think a Zelda world would be really cool, but I feel like you need that to be kind of open and like large space. That's the thing about the Mario Park.
What kind of rides do you put on there?
You could put like any boss fight could be a ride.
Sure.
You could put on you could make a roller coaster that's about like riding Epona. You could do there could be some music stuff there. You could do like I don't know, Hyrule Castle could be a dark ride. There's a lot of stuff you could do for that kind of place. Sure. But I think the key would be that it would have to feel like you're adventuring around it. And if it's condensed into a like, you know, football field sized place, then that's less exciting.
I mean, they do some like fun stuff, like the Harry Potter world. They've got like stuff where if you buy a wand, of course, then you can like wave it around at like certain things and like stuff will happen. Or in the Nintendo world, they've got like I think a bracelet, and then you can use the bracelet to like activate, like if you punch a coin block, it'll be like bidding.
Yeah.
And
so you're saying you buy a sword in the Zelda world, and whenever you
slash bokoblins.
And by bokoblins I do mean children. The people who work at the park.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sure, that too.
No, I mean, I'm very glad I've lived for that shit. I'm very glad that I went to Harry Potter world before J.K. Rowling ruined it for me.
Man, if in Zelda world, if they like you went to like the food stand, they're just like, here's a big hunk of meat on a bone.
Yep, there you go.
Or just like they just like throw all the ingredients in a pot, shake it up, and then give it to you.
Yep. In similar news, did you see the pricing come out for the Galactic Star Cruiser for Star Wars?
No.
That's like their hotel experience.
Oh, right.
$5,000 for a weekend.
For how many people?
2. It's actually a little bit less per person. Obviously it's less per person, but it totals out to like $5,000 no matter how many people you take. And they clearly are setting it up so you could not take friends that are adults to make it cheaper. It's like it's like you either are taking 3 adults and 1 child, 2 adults and 2 children, or 2 adults. That's it. Those are the options. And I think if you were like, well, we have 4 adults, they'd be like, well, you'll need 2 rooms then.
Sam is my dad, and Allison is
my
mom,
the reason they can enforce it, I mean, as someone who's gone to many conventions, they try to enforce it and say, no, only 2 adults per room. And then you just say, of course, only 2 adults per room. Could I have a cot, though? And then everyone else just like, you just work it out and share room keys and stuff. But this place, you're going through like an admissions gate into the hotel. So you can't like slide in afterwards and be like, oh, I'm here to see my friends who have a room, because they won't let you in. Because they essentially like, they don't lock you in, but they essentially like you board.
They lock everyone else out. Basically.
And like, I think you could probably go outside in an emergency, well, obviously an emergency, or if you were like a smoker or something, but it's definitely designed so that you're immersed and you don't leave.
Okay.
And so $5,000 is just like fucking, guess I'm never doing that, because I cannot justify $5,000 for a 2-night stay in a hotel.
Yeah.
I mean, that includes your park admission and like and food and like, stuff.
Presumably like some sort of all-inclusive type thing.
Yes, but still, even given that,
100%.
I mean, it's even if you say generously, okay, $1,000 for my partner and I to get park admission and pay for food for the weekend, which is crazy because it would actually be like $500, but whatever.
Yeah.
We'll give them the benefit of saying, still, that's like $4,000 for the hotel part. And yes, there's like,
do they give you like swag, or you get like
I think
a lot of souvenirs?
I don't know about a lot. I think you get a little bit of stuff. And like, the point is, it's like I think the idea of this is like, you get there, you board a shuttle, and it's probably like some little room elevator or something. And then you're on the starship. And while you're there, you know, when you go to eat, for example, it's actors that are bringing you your food and that are like, you know, pretending
Dexter
they're acting
Jettster
the part. Yeah,
there,
for sure.
And
that kind of stuff.
They're playing jizz music.
Yes, there's a lot of jizz happening in that hotel. Jizz everywhere.
Twi'lek's dancing on the table or something.
And there's yes, it's definitely an adults only. Twi'lek's jizzing all over the place.
A wretched hive of scum and villainy.
And jizz. Anyway, it's like you'll be in your room and you'll get an alert that's like, holy shit, there's Imperials breaching the place. You got to go over there, and then they hand you a blaster and you shoot at people and stuff. Like it's got like immersive experiences going on, and it's probably stuff they're rotating in and out. So when you go, you're like, oh, this is what happened on my trip, and I go, oh, this is what happened on my trip. Like that stuff sounds cool, but $4,000.
What's that thing they have in New York where you go into like an apartment building and it's like a theater thing and like every floor has like different stuff happening?
Why can't I? I've always wanted to go there. Shit. If you had asked me 10 minutes ago what that was called, I would have been Sleep No More. Right?
Sleep No More,
yeah. Yes, I think it's definitely inspired by that kind of stuff. That stuff is right up my alley. I would gladly pay like $2,000 for that. I would make that happen.
Like $1,000 a person?
Yeah, but like
yeah, sure.
$5,000 in total for that versus spending maybe, and that doesn't cover flights and stuff or alcohol. Which if I'm going to the Star Wars Cantina, the Star Wars themed Star Cruiser hotel, I'm gonna get trashed.
Does that cover death sticks?
I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I was basically like, when I heard about it, I was like, unless Mark Hamill himself is coming into my room to wake me up in the morning and Harrison's driving this shuttle to get to the park, fuck that.
Do you want like Jar Jar Binks to come tuck you into bed at night, or?
Yes.
So when I was a kid, like probably like 4-ish, my family took a cruise. It was like a Disney cruise, or maybe it was Disney.
Was it a Jungle Cruise?
No, it was.
No,
it was
I know.
Called the big. Yeah. It was the Big Red Boat. It's like, I guess there's like a branding thing. It's called the Big Red Boat, and they had like Looney Tunes characters who would come and like tuck kids into bed. And I don't remember who I wanted, but it was not who I wanted. I feel like Bugs Bunny came, and this Bugs Bunny terrified the living shit out of 4-year-old me.
He was like the I'll fucking do it again character.
Big Chungus walk into my room. And I was like, oh my God, it ruined my night. It was not a good situation because I don't even remember who I wanted, but it was not Bugs Bunny at that time. I like Bugs Bunny, but I think it was just too scary for my little child brain. If they did a similar experience at Nintendo World for as the Star Wars Galactic Destroyer experience or whatever you called it, would you want it to be a Zelda thing, or would you think there would be a better suited?
I would rather it be a Pokemon thing, I think, because I think if you're asking me what world I want to like exist in for a weekend,
100%.
I think I would rather have it be Pokemon. But the thing is, it would only be worth it if they figured out a way to make Pokemon run around everywhere.
They get Boston Dynamics to stop making military robots, and they make Pokemon robots, and they cover them in flesh and skin and fur and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you do it, but I would need the experience. If you're going to charge me $5,000 to go to a Pokemon themed weekend, I better be able to hold a fucking Pokeball and throw it at a physical object and then catch the Pokemon. And I don't know how you do that. There may be a clever way to Imagineer that, but I don't know how you do it. Whereas, with Star Wars, at least you can have droids running around because all you really need to do is like a Roomba.
They could probably do some like fancy hologram shit.
Yeah, I think that it's possible. But it would be tough. If you even, and I would be fine with if they were like, okay, but you got to wear these lightweight glasses all the time. I'd be like, okay, yeah, put my glasses on in the morning. Tell me it's some weird, like it's actually a Pokemon that you're putting on your face, and you need it to be I don't know, to see them in this environment or whatever. Fine, but yeah, you got to figure that out. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping that the Star Wars thing, the Galactic Star Cruiser thing, flops hard enough that they have to lower the prices, to get people to go. Because I do want to do it, but that's so much money.
Yeah, that is like egregious, even for like theme park stuff.
And part of it, admittedly, is I would go with my partner and probably just pay the whole thing. Like I wouldn't ask her to pay me $2,500 for us to go to this thing that she probably would really enjoy, but also maybe wouldn't call it worth it. It would if the situation arose where she was like, fuck that, I don't want to do that at all, go with
Mhm.
one of your friends, and one of my friends was like, hey, we could split this,
Yeah.
I could see maybe paying
Mhm.
half of that price,
Mhm.
but it's just 2 nights,
Yeah.
which is just like fucking crazy to me.
Yeah,
If it were
that's-
3 nights even, that would feel a little
Mhm.
bit better, but it's like you get there and then you check in Friday morning and you're out by Sunday afternoon. It's
Yeah.
rough.
Well, speaking of rough, our last story about everyone's favorite game as service, the Avengers is finally getting its promised Wakanda update in like 10 days,
Yeah,
August 17th.
I was thinking it was September for some reason, so that's kind of cool.
Maybe I'm dumb, and let me double check, but I could have sworn I read August 17th.
I think you're right. I think I read the same thing.
Okay. So for me personally, like they'd have to like basically revamp the entire game
I think that's
to
where
get
I'm at
me
this
on
point.
board. Okay.
Yeah.
Because you were much more down with it than I was.
I was much more down with it, and then I decided to try it on PS5,
Mhm.
and I liked it a little bit more there, but going back through the story made me realize that I don't even think I liked the story as much as I thought I did at the time.
It's fine, but it's
the as I was going through the story, I started hitting the missions that are like in the service game areas and stuff, and I was like, this fucking sucks. I don't want to do this at all. And it really made me realize that I am a lot more down on that game than I initially was, and so they would have to do a lot. I heard some people saying that the multiplayer mega hives are actually pretty cool that they finally added, but I just don't. I don't. It's.
I
don't
heard
know.
the latest the whatever, like the mega hive or like the end game thing they added recently was like not good.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
So yeah, it's hard to say. Like opinions on that game still seem, at least the people who talk about it still like seem kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
But I don't know that they say this is gonna add the most content of any update they've done so far.
The problem isn't the amount of content is the issue. It's the way that they make you play it.
And the way you play it, the style of content.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They would need to. What I think. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that there's a way that they can make a compelling loot-based service game out of Avengers, out of Marvel. I just don't think that it exists. I think there is a way to make a service game out of it where it's more focused. It's more of, well, you know what? I take that back. They did. They made that Marvel Heroes game, and that game was good. And I think that's the way. Because I just want the game to be about character kits and learning how to deploy them in ways that is cool. That's what those games should be. Also, Mario Party 10 fucking sucks. I'm watching this car of people. They're rolling a 5 over and over again and getting sent to a space that sends them back 5 spaces. And it's happened 3 times in a row. Jesus, it just happened again. It's like looping.
Twitch.tv/gaming.
Yeah, sorry
Saturday morning.
Sorry to derail us.
To see Mario Party minigames played through.
I don't know how Alex is able to do this and not come. He must
he
must not watch it.
The stream.
It's impossible for me to not watch it because of the way I have it set up. And holy shit, this game sucks ass. I would much rather play Avengers than Mario Party 10.
No, I'm with you there. It does seem like, as far as I know, this is the end of their announced roadmap for at least 2021.
Yeah.
Which would, like, Spider-Man is still coming.
Spider-Man's coming
eventually.
I think they're going to shut this game down.
Maybe.
I mean, people are like not playing it.
Yeah.
I mean, and
maybe
honestly,
Wakanda brings some people back, but unless it's like revolutionizing the game, people are just going to bounce back off.
I feel like
and they need to make it so you can get in there as fast as humanly possible from like the end of the game, like the end of like the story, because most people probably stopped right around there, because I know I did.
I don't want to play the story through to the end. I would check out the Wakanda stuff, but I don't want to go. And you can, I know there are ways to bypass the story, but I don't want to do that either.
Yeah, well, you switch platforms. So like someone like me who, like, I played one mission of the Kate Bishop stuff that they added and I went, okay, I don't need to play this anymore. Like, that was when I got my PS5. I'm like, I'll try it on PS5, see if the performance being better helps or anything. It didn't. I mean, the performance was fine. It didn't help me like enjoy the game more. Yeah. But so like, if I have to go through and like play all the Kate Bishop stuff, all the Hawkeye stuff, whatever else DLC they've put in, whatever expansion stuff, before I can do the Wakanda stuff, absolutely not.
Yeah,
no way.
I guess I just don't see how the Wakanda stuff is going to bring people back when it doesn't address people's problems with the game. And it seems like they have not to pick on them too hard, but they have not done any of the stuff that people. It's like they're kind of building an echo chamber of the very small number of people who enjoy playing it, and just delivering content for those people, which would be fine if this wasn't a Square Enix game, I think. And if I'm if I'm a Square Enix boss, even as someone who is not interested in laying people off, I wouldn't lay anybody off or shut down Crystal Dynamics or anything, but I would say, this is not working. Skeleton Crew on it to maintain it and do basic updates to it. You guys figure out what you want to do next, because it's not going to be this game. If you want to make a sequel to this game and try again, maybe, but this ain't it. And it's not gonna happen. Because I just don't think it's. I think if there wasn't some writing on the wall there, I think this Wakanda thing is kind of the shot, because they haven't talked about Spider-Man at all, really, that I've seen anyway. So if Spider-Man's still coming, I think it's contingent on this update bringing some people back.
I mean, if presumably Sony gave them some money, and I would, but yeah, like, do they just have to like write it off and like, here's your money back? Or
I don't know. Like, I mean, it's a cost thing, right? Like, I mean, it may be worth it to Square Enix to just say, sorry, here's your $5 million back or whatever they paid. And we don't, it's not working.
It's not worth it for us. It's not worth it for you. Because if, having Spider-Man would be like, oh, get people to buy the game, play it on PlayStation. And, it did that. But I could see,
if you play that game, though, it's very easy to see how Spider-Man's going to work. If you've played the game, he's going to work similar to Black Widow's like grapple hooking stuff. It sucks. It's not fun. Doesn't feel good.
Maybe I could see it being like kind of a cross between that and like an Iron Man thing.
Well, I mean, you'll be able to like do some kind of flying thing like, where you swing around, but it's gonna suck.
But then maybe because it'll be. I don't think they'll do like, oh, you can just magically grapple to stuff in the air like in like the PS2 games or whatever.
I would not put it past them, to be honest with you.
Maybe if they're just gonna let you like fly around the canyon in the middle of like the desert.
We'll see.
Nothing above you.
A lot of those places have roofs, so.
Yeah, they've got like buildings and stuff, but there's also like vast stretches of just like empty space, or like
I could see them forcing you to only do it when there's buildings around, but that it doesn't actually attach to them or something. I don't know. It's
no, I'm not like, I don't think they're gonna be like, like Spider-Man, Marvel's Spider-Man on the PlayStation 5, where you can see the webs on the buildings or whatever.
You don't think it'll be good?
It's just I do not think it'll be good. No. But you know what I do think is good? This podcast.
I was gonna say, ending the podcast.
I've just
it's been a fun one.
And we can wrap it up now.
If we try.
If you know what, I don't wanna. We're gonna broadcast forever. Nobody can go anywhere.
Let's watch all of the Austin Powers movies.
They're on Netflix here.
Well, there you go.
In Japan. My girlfriend
will
not appreciate the Austin Powers movies.
I don't know if I'm pretty sure that she's seen them, but I don't know if how my partner would feel about rewatching them. Some parts of them haven't aged well, but also watching him try to parallel, like turn the cart around is still one of the funniest things that's ever happened in a movie ever. Yes. You can keep your Citizen Kane.
What is the Austin Powers trying to infinity also point when he, turn a video game?
When he drinks the poop. Oh, that's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Austin, it's shit. Oh. I haven't even watched those movies in probably 10 years, and it's still I love those movies.
Yeah, there's something to them. Thanks for everyone listening. This has been episode 184 of the Gaming Fix podcast on August 7th, 2021. I have been your host, Andre Cole, aka your partner's favorite book thing in the bookmark folder. You can find me on Twitter at Coolslaw, COOLSL4W, where I'm posting about, games and my YouTube series, Let's Nihongo Pikachu. So follow me. You can keep up with all that. Pat, where can people find you?
Find me at PJC Plays, and I'll probably... I want to do more streaming. I've said that in the past, and I think I'm going to try to stream some more racing here and there, but also just some general stuff. I might try to get back to streaming on Sunday mornings. I'm thinking I might use it as an excuse to just play some of the stuff that I'm interested in that I don't want to like dedicate to only playing on stream. Like checking out stuff like High Fleet and and those kind of games that I might not end up putting tons of hours into.
And you can find you can find the podcast on Twitch, once again at twitch.tv/gamingfix, or twitter.com/fixpodcasts. Fix podcasts? I don't even know.
Fix podcasts.
Casts with an S
at
the end. Podchaser.com/gamingfix. If you want to leave us a review, we'd really appreciate it. If you've got a question and you're not on Twitter, you can send it to gaming@fix.space. Thank you to Jeff Davis for our music that we use for this podcast, at Stranger Peace on Twitch and TikTok and Twitter, and go give them some love. And thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week with another episode. Stay wet, gamers. That's a podcast.
I was trying to come up with something to say and I couldn't figure it out in time. That's okay.